Greetings, fellow humans. So today I'm going to show you how to install 3 of the more popular Stable Diffusion packages on your NixOS operating system. We've got AUTOMATIC1111, which is the current go-to default for open source generative AI art. We've got ComfyUI, which is a fantastic pipeline editor based on Node.js, and of course we've got the Kohya SS Web UI, which allows us to train LoRa's. To get things started, let's just go ahead and clone this little repo here. The user Virchow13 over on GitHub did all the heavy lifting for us, and we're going to stand on their giant shoulders and just clone their repo. Basically, they've got a couple of Nix files that will make our lives much easier as we go ahead here and clone the Simon didn't say git clone the AUTOMATIC1111 repo here. We'll go ahead and change directory into that and copy over those Nix files from the first repo that we cloned. Now we'll go ahead and enter the Nix shell, and that's pretty much it. We should be ready to go. We should just be able to launch the webui.sh starter script that they give us here. We're going to pass in the xformers parameter so that we run it with the xformers. And it's going to just start up. And the first time it runs, of course, it's going to take quite some time to install all of the stuff that it needs / wants. And there we go. Looks like it's done. We'll go ahead and click on the little link here and see if it starts. There we go. Look at that. It works. Well, I'll be. Check it out. All right. Well, let's go ahead and install the ComfyUI then. Same basic drill. We're going to first, let's exit out of the AUTOMATIC1111 and go back up to our installed directory. And let's go ahead and grab that URL. We'll paste it in here, clone the repo, and we'll change directory into the repo. And now we'll activate, well, we'll copy our Nix files into the local directory, and then we'll activate our Nix shell. Now we've got some requirements that we have to fulfill before we can do our actual setup here. But since I'm running a NVIDIA GPU, I'm going to grab this instruction right here. It's going to install the Torch Vision and the Torch Audio for some reason. And, well, okay, we could do that, or we could install a virtual environment. I think we're going to go that route. So let's create our virtual environment. Let's source into it real quick here once. And now let's go ahead and install Torch Vision and Torch Audio. I'm going to edit out the boring bits here, but once we've installed Torch Vision and Torch Audio, we're going to go ahead and install the requirements as defined in the requirements.txt file, and then we should be good to go. In any case, it's going faster than it did the first time I ran through all of this, since NixOS caches all that stuff anyway locally. So it's going pretty quick for me, and we're pretty much all set. So let's go ahead and fire up that Python main and see if we can pull up the ComfyUI in our web browser here. It says it's running, and there it is. Alrighty. Well, here's the default pipeline, but we do not have any checkpoints. We don't have a model. Let's go remedy that real quick. So we've already downloaded the model for our Stable Diffusion, AUTOMATIC1111. Let's go ahead and add that path into our ComfyUI config. So they give us this template here, this example file. Let's go ahead and just make a copy of that without the .example. And all we need to do is, once we've created that file, we just need to change the base path to point to our actual Stable Diffusion installation, which is going to be at home/mriser/AI. Stable Diffusion Web UI. All right. Groovy. And let's run that one more time. Go back over to our web UI here, and look at that. We've got some safe tensors. Check that out. Okay. And I think we should be able to just cue our prompt. And there's our bottle. Check it out. Awesome. All right. 2 out of 3. We are on a roll. Let's see if we can do the same thing with the Kohya SS. So this is almost exactly the same drill. We're going to exit out of our ComfyUI and go up a level. We'll grab that URL and clone the repo, change directory into it, and now we should be, we'll copy over the Nix files again like we did last time, but we need to actually edit the impl.nix. We need to make some minor changes here because we need to use some obscure stuff, basically. So the CUDA toolkit on NixOS has actually been split up into 2 parts, and we need both of them. Part of it is in the .lib and the rest of it is in .out. So let's add both of those in here. And then the other thing we need to do is we need all of the Python. For some reason, only some of the Python is installed by default, but we need all of it. So, all right, now that we've done that, we should be able to enter our Nix shell. And that should give us all the bits and bytes that we need. So let's go ahead and run the setup utility. Let's fast forward through installing all that stuff for a third time and get to the good part. Here we go. Let's run our GUI. You can source that venv and accelerate that config if you really want to, but we're just going with the default values anyway, so let's just jump into it. Here we go. Now the UI is running, but that doesn't always mean that the software is working. In this particular case, we're going to want to train Allura and make sure that it is actually working. I got this far a couple of times, and that's how I figured out you needed all the Python and the CUDA toolkit and the whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a training folder that I prepared in advance. It's got an empty model folder, and it's got an empty log folder. And in the image folder, it's got our One My LoRa folder with a bunch of images and descriptions that I prepared in advance. The lovely Rebecca Ferguson has a charming little Instagram page, and you can download these images there yourself if you would like. In any case, we're going to copy the location of our images folder, and we're going to go over here to the LoRa tab. We're going to stick with the default model and go straight over to the folders section here. We'll paste in our image folder directory. For the output folder, we'll put the same with model folder, and then again in logging we'll use the log folder. Now we'll go ahead and rename the model output name to be My LoRa. We'll flip over here to the parameters tab, but we're not going to change any of the parameters. We're just testing this out. We're going to do one run of each image, one epoch, all that. Click train. Here we go, and we're off to the races. So again, this will take a few minutes, and we're going to skip right over it. And we're done. So I guess that pretty much conclusively demonstrates that our Kohya SS Web UI has been successfully installed. We've got a My LoRa Safe Tensors here. Let's go ahead and drop that into our Stable Diffusion installation, into our models folder. We have a LoRa folder for LoRa models. We'll drop that in there, and let's fire up the Stable Diffusion user interface here. Let's kill Kohya and pop over to the Stable Diffusion directory and fire that up. First we'll launch our shell, and then we'll launch the script, and once our AUTOMATIC1111 is running, we should be able to test, does our new LoRa work? Let's refresh the page. Let's pull up there it is. Alright, let's see, what's it do? Well, that doesn't look like Rebecca Ferguson. Let's give it more of a prompt here. Is a woman with red hair. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Stable Diffusion. That there. All right. Does that look like Rebecca Ferguson? I don't know. But I think we probably need to train the LoRa a little bit longer and all that, yada, yada, yada. But the tech, she is working, and there you have it. That's how you do it.